Good evening and welcome to the John Gaunt podcast. The question today, should King Charles abdicate? Not because of anything he's done, but because of his brother and the Epstein files. Prince Andrew, whatever he's called this week. Mandelson. The monarchy is under siege. Our king is poorly. I am a monarchist, a trimmed down monarchist. I'm into it. But I don't think he can cope with the strain. He's clearly terminally ill. He needs help. He doesn't need this stress. Let's talk about it. Should the king abdicate and let William take over? Does it need a younger man now? And what about Andrew? And what about Mandelson? Both of those should be in America and being investigated by the FBI. If there's something to answer, put them in a court of law in the States and let's find out. Why is it there seems to be one law for us? Because let's face it, if I'd been accused of this, I'd already be in the United States of America. They would have taken me off in shackles. But why isn't it the same for Mandelson? And is, in a sense, Andrew being used as some kind of shield to take the heat off Mandelson? I want your views, and I want them now. Good evening. It is the John Gaunt Show, but let me just say it straight, because nobody else in the media seems to have the guts to do it. I believe the British monarchy is in serious trouble, and pretending otherwise is a lie and also very, very dangerous. We're living in extremely dangerous times. We've got a Prime Minister, Starmer, who's already saying it shouldn't be called His Majesty's government. He's changed all the livery. Who gives him the right to do that? Starmer's a communist. He doesn't want the monarchy. He wants rid of it. We've got to watch what's happening here. But if Andrew's guilty, I want to find out in a court of law. Mandelson, the same. Why the delay? And let's face it, King Charles is not getting better at the moment. You can see it. You can dress it up. You can spin it. You can hide behind so-called palace statements. But the strain is obvious. And the pressure being piled on him is relentless. There's loads more going to come out in the Epstein files. Not about Charles, but about his brother. Can anyone cope with this, let alone an old man who, by his own admission, has cancer? The reason Charles is looking so rough is Andrew, is Epstein, and the cowardice of the political class. Why is Prince Andrew still here? What was it the other day? Starmer was urging him to go. Take him. Take him. Get him on a plane and get him to the States so he can answer the questions. I'm not saying whether he's guilty or not. I don't know. It doesn't look good, does it? But he must be questioned. And why? Ask yourself this question as well, especially after we had the attempted cancellation of elections by Herr Starmer, by our supreme leader. Why is all the focus locked on Andrew while Peter Mandelson, another man with Epstein connections, was given the job to be the ambassador of America? Does it suit the political elite for the pressure to be on Andrew and the royal family, especially this political elite, rather than Mandelson? Who appointed Mandelson? By his own admission, he said sorry. He made a misjudgment. Yes, it was Starmer. So the question, why is Prince Andrew still here in the United Kingdom? Why hasn't he gone to the States to be questioned? And why is all the focus locked on him while Peter Mandelson is just ignored, forgotten about almost? This decision belongs to Keir Starmer. It was a monumental misjudgment. Now, I believe Andrew is being used as a kind of shield, a kind of lightning rod, bleeding a human lightning rod, a distraction, a human shield, if you like. Others are being protected. And the more we hear about Epstein and the Epstein files, the more it makes me sick to my stomach. And in the middle of all this sits our monarchy, bleeding credibility by the day. Now, you might want to get rid of the monarchy, and I can understand your argument. But in a sense, that's an argument for another day, isn't it? What we don't want is the monarchy to be injured at this point in history, when we've got a prime minister and a government, dare I say it, yes, I'm going to say it, who hate the monarchy, because the monarchy is everything they can't be. There's lots of faults with the monarchy, I understand that, but I'd rather have a constitutional monarchy, here's your question, than a president. What, President Blair? President Starmer? No, thank you. And I think Charles has been doing quite a good job. But how can any man at his age, having cancer, and he's still got it, no one's saying it's gone away, how can any man at that age put up with what he's having to put up with? So I say, abdicate. Let's put William in charge. William is the one who's been so tough on Andrew and on Fergie. I think he's ready now to be the king. So my question is, should Charles abdicate? And would that make the crown survive? Because if this carries on, this soap opera, this sick soap opera, there may not be anything left to protect at the end of it. Let's get into it. I want your views. It's the John Gaunt podcast. If you've got an opinion, please tell me now. What is your view on this? What is your view? What's your opinion? I just think it's a terrible, terrible situation. Pam Millett, she'll kick us off tonight. She says, yes, Charles knew a lot more than he ever let on. Well, I'm not sure about that, Pam, but that's your opinion. And so did the lying Starmer over Mandelson. And did admit as much in the House of Commons whilst it was being recorded to Kemi. Well, that's what I say. Mandelson and Andrew, both of them, should be in America. But what I'm asking you is, do you believe the strain is too much for the king? Do you worry about the monarchy collapsing? I do, because I think it will lead to chaos. And I'm sorry, I don't want a president. I think our system works okay. Starmer is trying to break the system. Last week, he changed all the livery. It's no longer His Majesty's government, is it? It's clear. Starmer must be loving this because Charles is being dragged into it. Don't forget, in my opinion, I use this word advisedly, the villain of the piece is Andrew. I don't know whether he's guilty of sleeping with children, but we know there's a problem there. And that problem, he needs to clear his name and clear our collective name. What's your view? Donald Samsung says, good evening, John. How are you? I'm fine, thank you. I don't normally talk about royal stories because I find them a bit boring. But I don't think we can ignore this one anymore because this goes to the heart of our democracy and our country. Tay Merrick says, a fountain of great ideas, aren't you? Another serious dilemma only you can solve. You're being sarcastic, mate. Because do you know what? You don't have to listen. You don't have to watch. You can go and look at something else if you want. Why you got your knickers in a twist? Or have I misinterpreted what you're saying? Ian Passy on YouTube says, send Andrew to the tower and allow the younger members to take over whilst we still have a royal family. Well, I don't know whether we can send him to the tower. What we do need to do is send him to America so that he can either clear his name or be found guilty. And if he is found guilty, I would want him sent to the tower. I certainly want him to go to prison with exactly the same sentencing as a normal member of the public. Don't you? But at this point, we don't know. We must stress this. We don't know if he's guilty. My concern is for the king. He is very seriously ill. That's without doubt. And this can't be helping. Do you agree? Do you agree? Let's have your views on this subject. Or do you not care? Do you want the monarchy to collapse? I just think the monarchy collapsing at this moment will put our country, our democracy, in danger. We already know. He said as much. Starmer wants us back in the EU. He doesn't want us as an independent sovereign country. So if the royal family went, it'd be further along on his commie path. Yes or no? Or am I overreacting? I just think this is what we need to discuss. Before we go any further, I want to say a massive thank you. And I've forgotten their bloody names now. They're regulars to the show. Let me just find it for you. Won't be 2 seconds. Richard Pope and Den Spinks. They promised me they were going to send me 7 beers last night. And I said, oh, that'd be great if you do. And do you know what they've just done just before the show started? They've sent me 7 beers to support these podcasts. Thank you so much, my friends. They went to www.buymeacoffee.com, and then you can choose to either give a beer or indeed to give a coffee. It's the same price, I think, £5 or whatever. 7, that's 35 quid. That's more than I got in all of last week. So thank you. Thank you so much. And if you'd like to do the same, just go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt, or you can also click the little padlock, not the padlock, the $sign. What am I on about? And donate there directly here. Oh, Tamek is apologizing. He says, I'm sorry, John. I meant that in good faith. Your show is something I do really enjoy. I'm sorry. I apologize as well then. I've just overreacted. I thought you were having a go. I do apologize. Thank you very much indeed for joining in. So, I don't know whether it is a great idea. At the moment, it doesn't look like it. The viewer numbers are the lowest they've been in ages. Please spread the word. Copy the link. Ring up your mates. Do it the old-fashioned way. Tell them to join in. I think this is a debate that is absolutely necessary. Is it time? Is it time for the king to abdicate, for William to take on the responsibility? He has been really hard on Andrew. Did you see? It was at some do a few weeks ago on the balcony where he wouldn't, on the steps of a church, he wouldn't talk to Andrew. Again, I must keep stressing, I don't know whether Andrew's guilty or not. What I do know is that smiling, smarmy git, he is guilty of being that, arrogant, out of touch, twat, needs to be in America, and he needs to be questioned by the FBI or whoever. And then, if necessary, put on trial. But I also say the other part of this agenda is Peter Mandelson. Are the government and the mainstream, lamestream media, who all love Mandelson, are they using Andrew as a human shield? Let everybody obsess about Prince Andrew is this. The stories that are around today are pathetic. And they could be doing this because Mandelson was always protected because they were scared of him by the mainstream press. I say Mandelson and Andrew, they should be put onto a plane by the British government and sent immediately to the United States to answer the questions. While we're talking about sending people to the States, what about the Chagos Isles today? Those lads who have landed there and reclaimed their territory, Starmer's done the Midas touch again in reverse, and he's now threatening them. He's now threatening with getting them off the island. How the hell is he going to do that? Is this his Maggie Thatcher moment where he's going to send a task force? He's such a prat. But he's behind this. He's behind all this. He wants a republic. He doesn't want a constitutional monarchy. In my opinion, that's what I'm interpreting. And that's why I'm saying it's dangerous. Before we know it, we'll have a Prime Minister Starmer. Now, he may take a totally different view. You might think King Charles is useless and it's time to move on. Let's have that debate as well. But should he abdicate? Right, let's go. If you like William, why would you want to subject him to life as king? Says Jackie Ward. At his young age, he's not that young now, he's over 40. He doesn't deserve to have that put upon him because of what Andrew has done. What? So, Jackie, I don't want to fall out with you. You'd rather a man who's got cancer, who's at the end of his life, carry on taking all the strain. Is that what you're saying? I don't think you thought this through. 40 years age is not a young man. He's a man. And he's proved himself to be a man recently with some of the things he's said and he's done. I'm saying he should relieve his dad of the job and not force him, but ask him to abdicate. And then they can do it on their terms. Because what would happen if Charles suddenly dies? And I'm not being rude, but all the palace sources are clearly saying he's not getting better. And if you're that poorly, having all this strain can't help, can it? Are you with me or against me? Don't want to fall out with you, Jackie, but on this one, we disagree. And I disagree with you quite passionately. Yes, Charles should abdicate, and we need King William on the throne of England. Well, the throne of Britain, I think you mean, Pamela. Don't upset the Scottish, whatever you do. Thank you very much indeed for your comments. David KT. In September 1979, I took my oath to our late Queen at Jury Street in Warwick, which I held for 14 years. Upon her death, my oath was paid. As for this king, even his own mother never trusted him. Well, Andrew was her favourite, you're right. I don't know about trust. It was only over her dead body that he became king after some 50 years of the Prince of Wales. Well, that's because we have the law of succession. It wasn't because she hated him. Don't know what you're trying to suggest there, David. And as for Andrew, Delta Force should take him to the USA. Yeah, if we could get that bloke out of, what was it, Venezuela, the Americans should come in with a helicopter, boom, 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 and take Andrew away. Andrew has to answer these questions. But also, can you just widen this out like I'm trying to and say, is he being used as a human shield to protect Mandelson? Because if Mandelson gets into an American court, if he does, right, under oath, is he going to sing like a bloody canary? How many members of the establishment might be dragged down by what he knows? Please believe me when I tell you we haven't even, we often talk about the tip of an iceberg. We're only just put our feet on the iceberg at the moment. I was reading some stuff today which is just horrendous. And the police are now investigating whether Epstein, there's an allegation from Gordon Brown, that Epstein was using his private jet to come into, I think it's Stansted or Gatwick, and he was transporting people on that plane that he didn't have on the manifest. And the accusation is it was children. You remember all these wild conspiracy theories about paedophile, they were called conspiracy theories, that there were these worldwide paedophile rings. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's true. So when you're thinking about this, don't just think about Mandelson and Andrew. Think about the victims. We should be as upset about all this as we are with the Pakistani Muslim rape gangs. If the aristocracy and those that want to rule us are up to this filth, we should condemn them. Of course, they should get a fair trial, just like anybody else. But if found guilty, well, I'd kill them. I've said this a million times. I've just been talking about it to my sister-in-law downstairs. I've got no time for paedophiles. If you're found guilty, string them up. Are you with me or against me? I said that the other day on another podcast, and AI shortened it. You know, they do these little shorts for me now. And it's got demonetized, that little short, because they don't like you talking about paedophiles. So the crime of the century, which is what it is at the moment, you've got to be careful what you say on YouTube. It's like if in a title, if you put rape, like grooming gang and rape, that flashes up an alert. And like I say, the one I'm getting annoyed about now is that I basically said, if found guilty, they can swing. I don't think that's an outrageous statement. I think that's perfectly okay. And I'm going to take it up with YouTube because it's pathetic, because it's almost, well, it is. It's censorship. Do you see where I'm coming from? So just think this through. If you've been condemning the Muslim Pakistani rape gangs, you should be condemning Epstein, because what's going to come out, I'm absolutely sure of it now, is that there was worldwide child abduction and child trafficking. So when Mandelson, his defense before was, well, he never involved me in it because I'm gay. I don't know how much water that will hold. But what I'm saying is he should be questioned by the Americans. We would be demanding this if it was the boot was on the other foot. Starmer made some half-assed comment about, oh, I would encourage Andrew, what do they call him now? Andrew Windsor of Mountbatten or whatever it is. Call him Prince fucking Andrew. That's what we know him as. Why do the MSM and the politicians want to weaken us? Well, I'll tell you why. Because Parliament is stuffed full of paedophiles or paedophile sympathisers. Don't believe me? Look at the history of Labour when they wanted to involve the paedophile information exchange and thought it was the same as homosexuality, which of course it isn't at all. Look at a certain famous person who's obviously got some kind of super injunction, and we're not allowed to know what happened to him. He disappeared. Look at the 2 or 3 of them up who are on sexual charges at the moment. This is going to be a worldwide scandal. Surely we're not going to wait for how long we had to wait to get those Muslim Pakistanis in court. That's all I'm saying. Now, I'm not saying Andrew's guilty. I've got to keep stressing this. Or even Mandelson. But I want both of them in America answering the questions to the FBI. And then if they need to go on trial, put them on trial. Make sure it's fair. But if they're guilty, that's my view. What's yours? Richard Pope says you're welcome. Welcome for what? Oh, for the beers. Thank you very much. Richard donated 7 beers. If you'd like to donate, you just go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt, or alternatively, just click the $sign and donate a few bob if you can afford it. Got nobody. I can't believe this tonight. I'm going to be straight with you now, because I always have been in my career. There's only, according to my YouTube at the moment, there's only 47 people watching. I can't believe that. I mean, last night the numbers were through the roof. Has something happened that I'm missing? Has something happened in the news? Has something broken? I don't know. What's going on? Where are you? This is a massively important subject. If you're watching on replay later, I'm sure by the time you're watching it, more will have been revealed. Stan Morgan, I'm thinking the same. For the good of his ailing health, it's William's time now. For how long? I don't know. Sam, that's a very good point. I've deliberately stayed away from this story because I also don't like the way the mainstream media feed off the royal family, right? I don't. And I'm a monarchist in the sense that I think all things considered, it's better than being a republic and having a President Blair or President Starmer. I can't think of a better way of doing it. I know they're privileged and all the rest of it and all that. But also Charles, I think when he was a prince, has done a lot of good. I told you I went up to, what's that place called? Dumfries House, where he's keeping old craft skills alive, yeah? Where he's working with young people in this really depressing area where loads of people are ex-miners, they haven't got jobs. Charles has given them hope. And so I know he's got loads, I know all that, but I think that's pretty good, personally. And also, he's been proved right on a lot of the eco stuff he comes out with, yeah? Some of it's a bit crazy, but most of it, I think he's all right? But I think now, as Sam Morgan's just said, the man is poorly. And his brother, whether any more of the allegations are true or not, he's brought shame on his family, hasn't he? And with that, I nearly said a word I shouldn't say. What should we say? That happy-go-lucky wife of his, Prince Andrew I'm talking about, Look at the shame she's bringing on the royal family. And then the shame on Britain. That's what I'm talking about. But I think he's poorly. I think he deserves now to step aside. Are you with me? Are you agin me? Steve Palmer says, I've just got here, John. Sorry I'm late. That's all right. No, you can't always be on time, Steve. But he's donated a fiver, £4.99 on YouTube to keep these podcasts going. Thank you very much indeed. Your name will come up in a minute. Paul Hector, yes, we should get rid of these bunch of freeloaders. Shame you didn't stay at Talk Radio. I enjoy your talk. Well, thank you, Paul, but you've kind of misinterpreted what I'm saying. I'm not a Route One. No, let's do the royal family. Let's get rid of them all sort of guy. I'm saying this is quite a complex subject because what I'm telling you, and you should think this through hard, I'm saying the king should abdicate, but I don't really want him to because I don't want the monarchy destroyed by socialist Starmer. That's what Starmer wants. That's what he wants. He's already renamed the government from His Majesty's government, like Her Majesty's government. And this is scary stuff. And he'll use this to his advantage. So, Paul, just so you understand why I'm not going to fall out with you, but it isn't as simple as you're trying to make out. I knew I'd get a reaction like that by using the word abdicate. I want the king to abdicate. I want William to take on the responsibility. But that doesn't mean I want to get rid of the monarchy. Hi, John. We must keep the monarchy, says Terry Wheatley. I was born in the same year, 1948, as our king. I'm not sure if his health can withstand the pressure. Thank you, Terry, on Facebook for understanding the point I'm making. It's exactly what I'm saying. Perhaps the Queen may advise him accordingly. I detest this government in so many ways, says Terry Wheatley, who's a regular listener, contributor, donator as well. Terry, thank you very much indeed. You've basically expressed it better than I did. My whole opinion is if we get rid of the monarchy, what happens next? Because I've said to you loads of times, Blair. Well, Blair is back on the choo-choo, but with Trump, isn't he? He's on the gravy train. Look at the Kinects, the lifestyle they had. Boo, boo. That was through the EU. Well, if we start to have a president in this country, that's what will happen. Look at all the MPs who end up in the House of Lords. Choo-choo. All on the gravy train. So, although I'm asking for the king to abdicate, it's for him. He deserves to have a couple more years, if he makes it, in peace. And William, get on and do the job. Now, some people, including some very, very good friends of this program, are obviously telling me I'm wrong. Jackie Ward's one of them, which is fine. We can have a robust debate. Let's move on. Den Spinks, it's no good Charles pretending there isn't a problem when there clearly is. Maybe he should abdicate while he still can. More beers in a few weeks, John. Okay, yes, thank you very much indeed. Thanks for your donation tonight. Well, that's really where I'm coming from. Taking responsibility now. We don't want a crisis situation where Starmer suddenly decides. You with me or you against me? Thanks very much for joining in tonight. If you're watching it on a replay, that's great. If you're listening on a replay, that's great. Don't forget, all of these are audio podcasts as well. And don't forget, the best way to support and follow me, and it doesn't cost you anything, is to join John Gaunt TV on YouTube. Just go to John Gaunt TV on YouTube. First time you go, there'll be a pop-up saying, do you want to subscribe? Don't panic. There's no money to subscribe. It just means you join our group, so to speak. And then you'll always get told, if you press the notification bell, when I'm doing a show. And you get access to the whole archive. There's hundreds of these. I need a few more just to go over 7,000 subscribers. I think I told you a few months ago, my target is 10,000. If I got 10,000, then the amount of advertising money I get goes up as well. So we're trying to build the audience. His Majesty's government has now been rebranded by the Labour Party as the UK government. Thank you, Terry Whitworth, 3246 on YouTube. I couldn't remember how he'd renamed it. Does this mean we no longer have a king? Well, I remember, Tony, when this happened, I suggested that's what he was after. He's after creating a republic, Starmer. How dare he change it? The government is Her Majesty's or His Majesty's. That's why we have the King's Speech. How long before and we know the Prime Minister writes the King's Speech, but it's called the King's Speech or the Queen's Speech because we're still a constitutional monarchy. And I know he can't really say no to anything, but that's kind of neither here nor there. It's about tradition. It's about culture. It's about our way of life. All, of course, Starmer hates. Just my view. Where are we going next? Starmer's going to use the SAS, but isn't Starmer persecuting our SAS through the courts till their dying breath? Yes, he is. He won't use the SAS to get Andrew to go to America. They're trying to persuade him. Den Spinks, credit to Den for the 7 beers, John. I just forwarded the money. Okay, sorry, Richard. I was giving you credit where it's not due. Well done to Den. Thank you, Den. Get rid of the lot of them. Biggest scroungers going, says Lena Teal. You're missing what I'm trying to say, Lena. I'm not slagging you. I'm just saying it's a much bigger story than shall we just get rid of the monarchy? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because where's it going to lead us to? Take Andrew and Mandelson to Guantanamo Bay and throw that witch Pam Bondi in there for good measure. Fair enough. How many more people do you want to send? Den Spink says, I couldn't have done it without your help, mate. I'll send about 10 in a few weeks. Okay. Thanks for thanking each other. Let's move on. There's the contribution from Steve Palmer, 3817 on YouTube. He sent me a fiver, $4.99 it works out at. Just got here. Sorry I'm late. Thank you, my friend. Thank you very much indeed for supporting us. I really need it. I really do. Thank you very much indeed. Whew. Where are we going next? Paul Rowbottom. I wish I had your faith in our justice system, but sadly, when it comes to these so-called elites, there's not much justice around. No, well, I agree with you totally about that. But it's not going to be our justice system, is it? We're going to send him to America. And he needs to be questioned. The problem is, of course, if it is a worldwide conspiracy like I'm suggesting now, because that's what it looks like to me, will they get proper justice in America? How many of them involved? Are the senators involved? There's been all these accusations against Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, even Barack Obama. All of these people I'm mentioning, I don't know why they're in the Epstein files. I just think this is scary as hell, Paul. That's what I'm really trying to say. Jackie Ward's back. Perhaps a conversation has already been had between Charles and William. Perhaps Charles doesn't want to step aside. I think if he wants to step aside, he will. Fair point, Jackie. But there comes a point, doesn't there, when it's your old man, when you've got to be a man. You called Prince William a young man. He isn't a young man. He's got 3 kids. He's 40-odd. He's got to step up. And he's got to say, Dad, this is killing you, literally killing you. Because I think it is. I mean, I think the shame that Andrew has brought up. Imagine if it was your brother. I just think it's terrible. I think the whole thing is terrible. Tony Whitworth makes a very good point. Watching all those Labour MPs sending their condolences to the victims of Epstein, but they all voted against the national inquiry for the victims of our country's grooming gang, lest we forget. Excuse me. That is a great point, Tony. A great point. And that's why I question, why do we have to drag Starmer to actually have a national inquiry? And why is it taking so long to get off the ground? And why weren't these girls, well, women now, aren't they? Why weren't they believed in the first place? There's a lot more to come out, I tell you. I think it's going to shake the whole idea of the power structure of the world. Like I say, in case you're just joining us, Gordon Brown now has accused Epstein that he was flying kids in and out of Gatwick or Stansted in his private jet, the so-called Lolita. I mean, just calling it that as well diminishes the scale of the crime, doesn't it? If you actually understand that book. I just don't think the authorities, the establishment elite, have ever taken paedophilia seriously. I really don't think they have. I really don't think they have. I think we, the British public, we get it. So when we say we want to string them up, we mean it. But then you get people like Hugh Edwards, has photographs of children as young as 7 being sexually abused. He doesn't even go to prison. I find it incredible. Monarchy needs to step up if they want to stay relevant. Well, that's a fair enough point. British people deserve better. Remember, monarchy are Greek and German. They owe this country and its people. Yeah, I know, but come on. Let's move on. Yeah, let's move on from that. But your central point, maybe the monarchy needs to do more itself. I accept that. Fine response, John. He did a lot of good with the award scheme. You're talking about Charles. I think he's a decent bloke too, in the wrong place, but a partial handover is better than a sudden change. I agree. Well, that's what really happened with her late Majesty the Queen, wasn't it? Obviously, she wasn't getting better. She'd been poorly for 4 or 5 years. Charles took more and more on, along with Camilla. Well, that's got to happen again. I know he hasn't been on the throne very long, but at the moment, what this country needs is stability, doesn't it? It doesn't need a situation where we get rid of the monarchy and then we start having conversations about, who's going to be the constitutional head? Oh, is it going to be an election? And then the usual knobheads will push and barge their way in to get elected. And before you know it, it'll be President Blair or President Starmer. I'm not making this up. This is what happened. Just like Brexit. The reason Brexit didn't work was because all the knobs took over it, even the ones who wanted to get out. It was no longer the people. So I'd rather have that debate now. Got a view? Tell me about it. My granddad didn't fight Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan for this country, for it to be sold off to a bunch of perverts. Well, I think what we've got, his name is something 4249. Maybe we've got to accept that we are. That government, House of Lords, all of it, is stuffed full of perverts. I don't know. I'm not saying they're all perverts, of course. But they've got a really odd attitude when it comes to paedophilia, haven't they? And so's our press. I remember. No, this person has to remain nameless for a moment. But a person on a national paper, it wasn't The Sun, by the way, but another one that I did some work for. Oh, no, it was a radio station. He turned around and said, how much longer are we going to go on about the rape gangs? And the people said, well, it's a big story. Yeah, I know, but it's getting a bit boring now, isn't it? That's the attitude you're up against. It doesn't sell papers. It doesn't build audience talking about children being raped. Starmer's playing drafts while Trump is playing 4D chess. Well, that's but he's let us down, though, hasn't he, Trump on the Chagos. I thought it was tremendous this morning. I was watching it on GB News. Those guys had arrived on a yacht and a rubber dinghy being used for the right purpose, and have claimed back their land. Surely that can be worked out. Surely it can be. And I thought, I don't know if he was the president or what he called himself, but he was the spokesman for the Jagus Highland guys. Brilliant. What a fantastic accent he had as well. But anything that is traditional, British, just relegated, isn't it? Not interested. Don't waste your breath, John. Neither Mandelson or the Can't Sweat Man will face justice. I'm not so sure about that, Lena Teal. I would have said that myself a few weeks ago, but surely now, they're going to have to go and be questioned. Whether that will end up in court, I accept that's a different issue. I even read something in the paper today, people saying we should lay off Andrew because he might end up killing himself. What? It's not what ifs and maybes and whataboutery. I mean, I'm sure he's under incredible pressure. Cool, I'm sure he is. But that doesn't mean we lay off him. We need the truth. And the only way to get the real truth is by him going to America. Well, I'm going to stop in a minute. So if you want to get in now. Only natural born are entitled to become the president of the United States. That's true. Oh, no, Tony, you're doing it again. So how did Obama become president when he admitted he was born in Kenya? He never admitted it. It's a conspiracy theory. It's bullshit, and it's not on my agenda tonight. Will you stop doing this? You've made some good comments, but now you're trying to divert the conversation. Set up your own YouTube if you want to do that. Imagine Charles abdicating and William stripping two people. Can you guess the two names, John? I haven't got a clue what you're on about, Den. Thank you for your contribution, but what does that mean? It must mean something to you, so write back to me and tell me. Right, I'm stopping now. I've said my piece. I've listened to what you've had to say about it. I'm saying this is an incredibly important day and debate. I wish more people had joined in to debate it, but it does worry me. Where are we heading? Where? And if we end up with a president with that, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be happy. Jackie Ward just sent me the 3 red hearts. That's my sign to go. Thank you very much indeed. Oh, here's David KT. See, David, you're the part of the problem, mate. The crown today is completely irrelevant. It only serves as a tourist attraction. I used to kind of hold that opinion. I used to say, well, the French chopped the heads off their royal family, and the Palace of Versailles gets more visitors than Buckingham Palace. Well, it's probably true. But would you like to have the French system here? Macron and whoever's the president of no, you wouldn't. It's ridiculous. Our system is okay. There's faults with it, I accept. And what I'm saying is I think the king is under such immense strain. Just as a human being, I would like his son to take over. And what I don't want is for the king to die suddenly and Starmer to smooth his way in there. We should be, well, you know what I think about Starmer. Sam Morgan says, good night, pal. Great show. Thank you. You're wrong, John. If Andrew was under pressure, he would be in the Middle East. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? You mean he'd run away? You don't think he's under pressure? I think he is. The things he's accused of. I've got no time for him. I've got no sympathy for him. If the pressure he's under, he should be in America answering the American people's questions. And as in all of these debates, let's not forget the victims. Okay, I'm finished. Thank you for those of you who've donated. If you'd like to donate, feel free. Go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt or click on the sign here, the little dollar sign, and donate here. Either way. I'm sorry if tonight's show has upset anyone, but I'm just speaking my mind, saying it as I see it. As I say, I could do a straightforward Millwall sort of style of radio, just basically saying, well, the wallpaper, whatever, but I think it's interesting to think of the bigger picture. All right, I'm done. I'll speak. Oh, I didn't do my anecdotes. I'm not in the mood for it tonight. We'll do them tomorrow, maybe. So tune in tomorrow at 6. I'm back in my normal slot now. So until we speak again, remember, if you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey, 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 don't forget to tell them you love them. See ya.